Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Your love and friendship means so much to us, and it meant so much to Federico. We love you all. We cannot thank you enough for the support that you always given us. I have a small poem to read for Federico. Para Federico y Carolina. Aquellos ojos verdes, de mirada serena, dejaron en mi alma eterna sed de amar, anhelos de caricias, de besos y ternuras, de todas las dulzuras que sabían brindar. Aquellos ojos verdes, serenos como un lago, en cuyas quietas aguas un día miraré. No saben las tristezas que en mi alma han dejado, aquellos ojos verdes que yo nunca olvidaré. Anhelos de caricias y besos de ternuras, de todas las dulzuras que sabían brindar. Aquellos ojos verdes, serenos como un lago, en cuyas quietas aguas un día miraré. No sabes las tristezas que mi alma han dejado, aquellos ojos verdes que yo nunca olvidaré. Thank you.
Que mandó Angélica, tía de Carolina. Para Federico, con todo nuestro amor por haber sido el compañero de nuestra querida Carolina. El tapado azul. Tango de Gardel que cantó un día Isabel, madre de Carolina. Azul como el mar, como el viento, la lluvia y la tormenta de los mares del sur. Como el silencio que precede, que acompaña, que anuncia su frágil partida. Amaba su música, su lectura, sus hobbies de coleccionar loza inglesa y curiosidades. Eso, de alguna forma, lo comunicaban con sus raíces, cosa que transmitía muy bien a la hora de tomar un té en una mesa digna de un lord. Muchos ir y venires, muchas horas felices y otras más tristes, más felices. Y con eso nos quedamos, que mirando desde la ventana de su cuarto se despidió, acompañado de los árboles en flor que antecede a la ansiada primavera de los cerezos en flor. Como dice Nicanor Parra, voy y vuelvo. Gracias.
We grew up in the suburbs of Buenos Aires City, attending Anglo-Argentine schools, where we learned our English. Federico was a lover of nature, of outdoor life, of gardening and watching insects. When Federico was around 2 or 3 years old, our dad used to go to the parks in the city and collect seeds from different trees and plants and plant them in small pots. We saw with interest how these seeds became tiny plants, which would then grow into larger plants and be transplanted to a plot of land our father owned near the city. One day, little Federico, experimenting, pulled out all the little plants from the flower pot and threw them out of our balcony into the street below. When Dad arrived from the office, late in the evening, we went out to the balcony to see how his little plants were doing and to water them. He had no doubts.
that Federico was the culprit of their absence.
and disappearance, and without much hesitation, woke him up and gave him a good spanking. Federico remained very quiet, without protesting nor crying. Next morning, the first thing he did was confront Dad and ask him the following question. Tata, do little plants talk? My father was much moved, and this story became a frequent anecdote portraying Federico's early infancy. It also was part of his training in plant observation and caring. When Federico was 4, our parents separated, and Federico for a short time lived with our mother, while I stayed with our father and paternal grandmother. Fortunately, both parents realized that the separation of the brothers was not good for either, and my mother allowed Federico to return to my father, with both of us spending holidays and part of the weekends with mother. We were not to separate again until we were young adults. Our next shared experience was school. When Federico was just 7 years old, we applied for admission to St. Andrews, the school where Federico completed his primary and secondary education. I had attended other bilingual schools for 3 or 4 years, and therefore had certain command of English, while Federico, who had not had this experience, had none, except for a brief attendance to a kindergarten where only English was spoken. When he returned home from his first day in kindergarten, he said to my father, Tata, all the people in that school are crazy. They don't speak, but utter sounds. This was English, of course, which he had not heard before. The admissions committee of St. Andrews said they would admit Federico only if he was a boarder in school, because he would be forced to speak English, since it was the rule that boarders could speak Spanish only during the Spanish timetable, which was from 1:30 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. Otherwise, it was obligatory to speak English, since rising to bedtime. This was accepted by our parents, and that is how both of us became boarders in St. Andrews, and how Federico gained his command of English. During our childhood, teens, and early adulthood, we spent holidays together, usually for 2 months with mother, and for an additional 15 days with father. They were glorious holidays, sometimes in the seaside, others in the mountains. On the beaches, Federico and I used to enjoy waiting for fat ladies to gingerly enter the ocean. Feeling cold and trying to avoid the waves. This is when Federico loved to run into the sea, splashing as much as possible and wetting the ladies. They would scream and then try to chase us as we ran away and laughed. In the mountains, Federico and I would turn up stones and rocks looking for insects, which, if large and interesting enough, we would put into glass jars and show them off alive to friends and neighbors. Among such insects were large spiders and scorpions. We also fought poisonous and non-poisonous snakes, and it was an enormous thrill to engage in battle with such specimens. After finishing high school, where he was one of the outstanding seniors in his school, a house captain and a prefect in our beloved St. Andrews, he was trained as a lawyer in the University of Buenos Aires. For a time, he assisted one of the Argentine Supreme Court justices in the Supreme Court of Argentina, a job he left to take a position with the Inter-American Development Bank in Washington, where he spent much of his professional life becoming a senior counsel in that institution. In his distinguished career, he contributed to the growth and development of Latin American countries in which he was called upon to serve from his position in the Inter-American Bank. As a result of his years of service, he made many lasting friendships in such countries. After retiring from the IDB, he served as an outside advisor to the World Bank Group. Federico enjoyed his work and gave it his best, realizing that by so doing, he also contributed to the professional improvement of his younger colleagues in the developing countries and in the IDB itself. Federico was married to Cecilia Leahy, who is here today, and has 2 children with her, Freddie and Christy. They were both a source of joy to him. Thereafter, Federico was happily married to Carolina Villegas, who shared more than a third of his life and accompanied him throughout, giving him invaluable love and support during his long fight with cancer. To her and her children and to his friends go my sympathy and support to the extent I can give it. My children will never forget Federico, who they enjoyed and cared for. Marina was his godchild and is here today to bid him farewell. As a dear friend wrote to Carolina of Federico, he will be remembered for his qualities of kindness, generosity of spirit, capacity for friendship, and we maintain a strong bond throughout our lives, a friendship stronger than any other, even despite the fact that as adults we lived in different continents. Most of our holidays were shared, and when we visited and corresponded frequently and regularly, the void he leaves cannot be filled, but the remembrance of him will accompany me and enrich the rest of my life. Thank you for your care, friendship, and for your presence at this farewell of Federico.
Las estrellas celosas nos mirarán pasar y un rayo misterioso hará nido en tu pelo. Luciérnagas curiosas que verán, querer